There's no pundits like those pundits over there. Welcome to HowDoWeHuman. This is a podcast where we overanalyze all of the weird and uncomfortable micro moments in life. I'm one of your pundits, Evan Cox.
And I'm one of your pundits, Chris Binning.
And hey, today, let's be honest, we're mostly talking about the Academy Awards, but we also wanted to talk about pundits and punditry and what the fuck that's about.
Yeah.
Before we, I don't know, I can't think of any pundit details. We've gotten so specific, I can't segue. But I'm going to punt it over to you.
Okay.
And ask, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little sick, getting the sniffles, so my energy might be a little low this episode, but this was before I was sick.
Ooh.
I was driving to work, and there's the car behind me is a Tesla, which,
great,
as any listener on this podcast knows, famously has awful drivers.
Yes.
And this was no exception. I'm coming to a stop at a stoplight, and that Tesla's coming in hot and just barely stops before rear-ending me. And I look in the back or in the rearview mirror, and the driver is this woman with her elbows on the steering wheel because her left hand is clutching a full, stainless steel pot. And her right hand is clutching chopsticks. And she's just furiously shoveling noodles into her mouth as fast and as aggressively as she can.
Wow.
While driving.
Amazing.
Never seen anything like it. Tried to take a photo. But I wasn't thinking, and so because I was seeing it through the rearview mirror, I was like, let me take a photo. And I put my phone up to take the photo through the rearview mirror, and then my phone was blocking the reflection. I
love moments like that where you've got photo evidence of something dumb you did.
Yeah, I didn't take the photo, but by the time I figured it out, she had put the pot down, so it wasn't a good photo, and the light turned green, so it's back off to the races. But
wow.
I'm sure that if I had gotten a photo of it there and posted it, there'd be a bunch of Tesla fans commenting like, this is actually good and shows how good the car is, because it shows you can eat a full pot of Chinese food before without needing to pay attention, because the car does it for you with its advanced AI.
It drives itself.
Yeah.
It drives itself crazy.
Speaking of driving,
yes.
Evan, I'd like to get you, Evan, take the wheel. Evan, how you doing?
Doing good. I'm enjoying this time with the wheel. Feels nice. Quick, not to go back to you. I know I do this a lot. But out of curiosity, was it a white Tesla?
Yes.
I'm noticing this. This is a thing. Because Teslas are bad enough in general. Yeah. But a white Tesla, we were noticing around here, it's always white Teslas that are the ones riding my ass, that are swerving around me, that are just driving like the worst people in the world. And we get them up here because this is a vacation-y area. So people come up from LA. I act like I didn't come here from LA. People come up here from LA. And it's always the white Teslas. And I think it's a flex. A white Tesla is a flex that I can afford to have my car washed like every day.
Oh, interesting.
So that's the ultimate I'm wealthy Tesla.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I have seen a lot of dash cam videos of like white Teslas especially coming to like full stops on the freeway and then causing an accident, and all the comments are like, actually, it's the other car's fault.
Oh, I hate that.
It's great. Love it.
Traffic conversations online. Is that one episode?
Yeah.
Traffic conversations on the internet. I have a addendum to add to a previous episode. My mother responded, and she wanted to say to the childhood toys episode, she wanted to confirm she did not leave me in a car by myself crying. She was outside the car the whole time. So, it's her word over mine. I was like 3. Who do you trust?
Who do you trust?
Who do you know better?
Yeah. That's a great point. If we want to get really technical about it, it does sound like you were in the car alone crying.
I mean, technically,
it's just, was she in the store? Was she standing right outside?
She's going to hate this.
Did anybody take a photo through their rearview mirror so that we would have the evidence? That's what we need.
That. Show me the receipts. No, I believe I have a vague memory of that, so I think she's right. We'll take your word for it, Mother. The only other thing I want to mention was I had the worst argument at a CVS with one of the employees there, which always hurts because I used to work at a Walgreens. But maybe I'm just competitive and fuck.
Yeah, it's a rivalry,
a little friendly rivalry. But I had gone in there. I went to the pharmacy. I bought something, some vitamins, and the vitamins, like always, are supposed to be buy one, get one free at drugstores. You see it all the time. And I took advantage of this. I ran out of some vitamins, and I was like, you know what? No time like the present to take some vitamin B as well as the ones I need. So I bought them from the pharmacist. Pharmacist was in a hurry, so we just got the transaction over with, and I left. But it did not come up buy one, get one free, and I didn't notice until I left because I was like, that was really expensive. I looked at the receipt like, oh, right, fuck, there was a sale on those. So I went back in, not to the pharmacist, to the front counter because that's where they would deal with something like that. And there was an older woman standing there and a younger woman behind her. And I walked in and she's like, what's the deal? I pulled out the receipt and was like, I explained the situation. I just bought these. They didn't come up buy one, get one free. Done, right? That's the end of the conversation. Except that wouldn't be a story. She says, did you put your phone number in? And I stopped and I went, yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure. And she says, can we see the receipt? So I handed over the receipt. Now the young girl in the back jumps in, looks at the receipt, and she's like, he didn't put his phone number in.
Got him.
Got me. And the older woman looks at me, hands me back my receipt, and says, you didn't put your phone number in. Like that was the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
And I paused to let her continue talking, and she didn't. So I angrily said, can I put my phone number in? You guys can figure this out. That's basically all there was to it. It got figured out. She's like, oh yeah, sure, fine. I'm like, what is the two of you? What did I do? I forgot to put my phone number in. We can fix this pretty easily. It's not a death sentence. The CVS death sentence. You forgot to put your phone number in.
Get on
and nothing can be done.
Store intercom.
Security.
Ladies and gentlemen, forgot to put his phone number in. Clean up at the cash register.
Yeah.
There's about to be a puddle of man tears.
About to be a pundit of man tears. Because it's Oscar time.
There are a lot of pundits who seem to get very emotional about
emotionally involved
by some bullshit.
So if you don't because pundit, like I said earlier, that's a very specific word. And if you aren't necessarily familiar with what we're talking about, these are the people that it's their entire fucking job to guess stuff and be emotionally violent about it. Or
Yeah.
just tell people their opinions or their guesses like they're facts.
Yeah,
And then when they're wrong, be outraged. Am I right?
that's the biggest thing. Yeah, because there's like a very small percent of pundits who you could say are experts in a certain field,
Yeah.
and a much larger percentage that are like interested in something but don't necessarily know what they're talking about.
Right.
Pundits, I think, and this is going to sound like some old man nonsense,
They
because I
used
was
to be
about to say
great.
the phrase pundits used to mean something. and and now they don't. It's just like guy with opinions.
Yeah. It goes back to all my...
We all have
And hey,
opinions.
exactly. We love the internet. The internet's a great tool. Glad to have you. This podcast is being done because the internet exists.
Yeah.
But it really blossomed this everyone's opinion matters. And it
Yes.
does. Everyone's opinion does matter, but we don't all need to hear everyone's opinion all at once. And it's the I mean, hey, and I want to talk about professional pundits too, but in terms of just people, and I've done it, like I've set up when I was a youngster. I was like, oh, I can throw out opinions about things like facts.
Sure.
But it's like, why? I don't know. I don't even know what point I'm driving at. I just, it's the ability on the internet to make yourself look and sound like a professional pundit.
Yeah.
Even if you're just posting on Facebook or whatever, you're using the language, you're learning from the people you see doing it, and you act like you're a professional outlet. And I don't even trust the real pundits. So
No.
you.
And there are all sorts of different areas of punditry,
Yes.
like political pundits. If we were talking a little bit before we started recording,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, we talk
about
politics when you're not listening.
yeah, about how definitely certain pundits just like choose a thing to get very upset about, or very emotionally attached to, and then get all worked up about it when it's hardly relevant to anything, and then just work a certain demographic of the country up into believing that that's what happened,
Yeah.
without seeing the video evidence. But uh what because we're close to the Oscars,
We are.
and every year, although we haven't necessarily recorded it every year Evan and I, we talk Oscars, our predictions of nominees and winners. um but movie and entertainment pundits are some of the most egregious. And maybe that's because that's who the algorithm pushes towards me, because they know that's
True.
my interest. But every year there's just nonsense punditry that gets pushed my way. Um in terms of like, oh well, this person will for sure get nominated, and then surprise surprise, they do not make the top
Yeah.
5. Or this person is like, especially, and we'll kind of talk about it probably when we talk about best picture, for this year. Like, most years the narrative kind of feels like it's one movie is the front runner for best picture until like a month before the ceremony,
Yeah.
and then it switches to something else. And this year I haven't really felt like there's been a switch. It's kind of just felt like one movie has kind of been the front runner the whole time.
Yeah. And I told you I
And
feel like there's been a switch. So
yes, but sometimes when this happens, pundits feel like, no, there needs to be a switch.
yes.
So I'm going to start pushing the narrative that this other movie is the dark horse to win. It's like,
Well,
but based on what?
and the thing about that, which I didn't know until like yesterday when I was looking into some shit about this, is, we always do this competition, friendly competition between ourselves. You've won every single year we do it.
My
And
favorite kind of competition.
Exactly. And I think generally it's because you pay a little bit closer attention to logic
Yeah.
and, and facts and previous awards, the awards leading up to the Oscars, where trends are going. And I follow my little pundit heart. But the interesting thing is we get, like you're saying, it'll be like, oh, this is it, this is it, this is it. And then a week before the Oscars, it's like, uh-oh, upset incoming.
Yeah.
Oscar voting, I just found out, is already over. It ended
It's
on
over.
February 27th.
Yeah.
So nothing's going to change.
Exactly. Well,
What you
so
assume right now is probably more accurate than what pundits are going to be saying the day before the Oscars.
the only difference is now that the voting has closed. I don't remember who does this, if this is Hollywood Reporter or Deadline, but there start to become these articles that are like, an anonymous Oscar voter reveals all of their opinions about who they voted for. And
Terrible.
so, there are like 7 articles that'll come out that are like 7 different anonymous Oscar voters. And people start to be like, well, if these 7 people say this, I'm sure the other thousands upon thousands of Academy members are exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with politics. We're also in an election year. We got a
Yeah.
little primary election coming up very shortly, and it's exit polls. They'll just like talk to people, get a handful of people who they vote for. It doesn't matter. That's
Yeah.
luck of the draw. You can get a handful of people who all voted the same way, but then the vast majority of everyone who didn't want to talk to you voted the other way.
Yeah.
We're just wasting time and getting clicks.
Yep. I feel like the other type of pundit narrative that gets pushed. I mean, the first time we did an Oscars episode was for movies that came out in 2019,
Yes, that's right.
which is the year that Parasite won.
Mhm.
And the narrative that whole year was like, yeah, but a movie not in English can't win Best Picture. It
Right.
never happens. And then it happened. And
Yeah.
now it's like, well, in this other category, like this year, I haven't seen this get pushed anywhere, but like an equivalent example would be like Sandra Hüller can't win Best Actress because
Right.
it's never been done before. There's all sorts of like, even when there are past examples, but people just like don't remember,
Yeah.
when they're like, oh, Best Director and Best Picture, that's never the same movie.
Right.
It's like, well, it is
It can be.
frequently.
Yeah.
Or there were like 2 years in a row where like the Best Picture winner won, but that person who directed that movie was not even nominated. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, so if your movie comes up as nominated for Best Director, you're probably not going to win Best Picture or whatever.
We can trust these trends. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you can't at all.
Right.
And then I want to talk about sports punditry also, because it's the same shit, and they did it leading up to the Super Bowl, where they'll do it the whole time. Oh, the Kansas City Chiefs have never done this in the second half. Oh, the 49, well, they've never done this in the first half. A Super Bowl has never ended up this way once the score started this way. But then it happens.
Right.
It's like, I feel like all the time I'm hearing like, oh, that was the first NFL game that ever did this. It's dumb to rely on. And then generally in sports, why I wanted to bring sports up, because politics is the same way, and movies to a certain degree. The whole job is just like, I just want to rile people up. It's trolling. I just want to
Yeah.
say something that's going to piss a bunch of people off. They'll come at me, and it's a fight to be accidentally right, to say the most outlandish fucking thing.
Sure.
And if you're right, you're a genius. Adam Schefter.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a big difference between like, the score, or a Super Bowl's never ended up this way after the score starts like this.
Yeah.
So it can't be done.
Can't be done.
Or, the Super Bowl's never ended up this way when the score starts like this. So if the Chiefs can do it, they'll make history. Like that's it. You're saying the same thing, but they are completely different at the same time.
To me, and granted, I think the whole crux of this podcast is we're not necessarily like everybody else. But to me, that's such a better narrative. I'm so much more interested in watching a game where it's like, oh wow, they might make history, than I guess I know how it's gonna end now. Like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Just stop it, all of you. Now, so should we play Pundit?
now that we've said pundits are dumb, let's go ahead and be pundits the rest of this episode.
Let's go be pundits.
We're going to do some predictions for who we think is going to win the 96th Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Live March 10th at a new time. I think it's 1 hour earlier, but I don't remember.
Hey,
I just know
nice.
that the thing says it's at a new time.
I will say ahead of time, in terms of Best Picture nominees, I have still not seen 3 of them. I have not seen Poor Things, Zone of Interest, or what's the other one? Past Lives.
Past Lives. I've not seen The Zone of Interest or Anatomy of a Fall. So between the two of us, Zone of Interest is the only one that we haven't seen.
I mean, you're holding out on what seems to be the 2 heaviest movies of the year.
Yeah.
Not always your vibe.
No.
You don't want to sit outside Dachau and watch a family thrive. It's one of those things like that. I mean, that almost sounds bad to say, but I'm like, I'm prepared to watch Zone of Interest and be like, oh no, that was my favorite movie of the year. Like, that sounds fascinating to me. I'm all in for it. But yeah, hard to find a day to just go like,
yeah.
Yeah, I was just like talking about it. I was talking with my mom, and she brought up like when she saw Schindler's List in theaters, and it's like, yeah, it was amazing. But then like, does anyone rewatch Schindler's List? Like, it's an amazing movie. Yeah, it's maybe Steven Spielberg's greatest movie ever made. When do you rewatch Schindler's List? You kind of just don't.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that Zone of Interest will win Best International Feature.
I think that's likely. I have a backup though. I have a second. My runner-up.
Is it the one you've seen?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Surprise.
Well, where do you want to start on this big old list of nominees, Evan?
I want to go in my special order.
Great.
Let's lead with some big categories, but end with Best Picture.
Okay.
Draw everyone in, keep it interesting. So I say otherwise, let's go in reverse order, but we'll save Best Picture to the end.
Okay.
All right. I'm talking
Take it away. Best Actor.
I'm here to talk about Best Actor. Now, I read a little bit of punditry, and the pundits out there right now are saying that this... See, I hate even talking like this. This sucks. People are saying that this race is down to 2 people. Is it really? No, probably not. But the word is it's pretty strictly down to Cillian Murphy or Paul Giamatti. If either of these guys win, be their first Oscar, and I would love for either of these guys to win.
Yeah.
I'm selecting Cillian Murphy, but... That's a toss-up to me. I love those 2 actors, and they're both fantastic.
Yeah, what's interesting is most of these categories, I feel like, are, quote, down to 2 nominees. Like it's a 2-horse race in almost every category.
The acting in particular feels like the world has written off all the other people.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I feel like every day I kind of go back and forth between who I think will win between Giamatti and Cillian Murphy. And I think you're right that Cillian Murphy is going to win, but I preferred Paul Giamatti's performance. Like
Yeah, they're just
if
such
I were in the
different
Academy, I
movies.
would vote for Paul Giamatti, but I think Cillian Murphy's going to win.
If I were in the Academy, I would vote The Holdovers for a lot of things. That was up there, if not my favorite movie of the year. I fucking loved that movie. Just watched it a second time.
Yeah, I mean,
Holds up.
Yeah,
and yes, I love the movie starring Paul Giamatti with a lazy eye. The person I've been told I look like more than anyone else. I saw myself in the role.
Yeah,
I smell like fish in the evenings.
Oppenheimer and The Holdovers are in my top 3 of the year, so I'd be on board with either winner. And I really don't think, as much as it's an annoying punditry thing, I really don't think that Bradley Cooper, Coleman Domingo, or Jeffrey Wright have much of a shot. But I do.
No, but I did. That is the one we said ahead of time. I didn't want to spoil it, but I've watched American Fiction. Loved American Fiction, and I do love Jeffrey Wright. So that would be wild for him to win, but that would be fucking awesome. Well, also seems like a good dude.
I remember very early in the year, because a lot of these movies play at different festivals. Whenever American Fiction hit its first festival, I don't remember if it was a Sundance or a Telluride or whatever, but I remember seeing an article that was like, American Fiction, Jeffrey Wright has the Oscar in the bag. And now here we are several months later where it's like, Jeffrey Wright has no shot at winning an Oscar.
This is exactly how it always goes. You'd mentioned you'd seen American Fiction and we were talking about it, or maybe you saw it, I don't remember, but I remember talking about it before it was nominated, before the nominations came out.
Yeah.
And thinking like, that's a dark horse. That's probably not gonna get nominated. But then, like all the buzz around it was just like, no, this is a winner. This is gonna win Best Picture. And now that it got nominated, it's like the bottom of everyone's lists. It's so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why we do any of this, but here we go, doing it again. Are you landing on Paul?
I'm gonna say Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy wins.
All right. Which brings us to our next category. This sucks. I'm just going to go to Best Actress, which
this is a 2-horse race, Evan.
According to everyone. I was surprised to hear that just yesterday, listening to the pundits, that this is a 2-horse race. I've always heard this as a 1-horse race. I have not seen Poor Things, but apparently Emma Stone is in this race in a big way and might be taking the lead. But this is Lily Gladstone.
Between the Stones. This is between the Stones. Gladstone versus Stone.
Oh, we gotta be romancing the Stones.
Okay.
Rolling Stones.
I kind of think Emma Stone is going to win.
That's so weird.
When did that happen? Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing because, and this is the punditry sort of thought process that gets kicked around, is like, Emma Stone just won an Oscar 8 years ago, but she just won. So like, shouldn't we give it to somebody else? For La La Land. She won Best Actress. But similarly in like 2017, Frances McDormand won for 3 Billboards, and then again for Nomadland, 4 years after that or whatever. But so it's like it's another one of those things where like nobody ever wins 2 Best Actresses that close together, and then Frances McDormand does. So like,
what are we doing?
I kind of think I think Emma Stone is who I'm gonna pick.
It's very,
because I also don't know how many, and this is true of Killers of the Flower Moon too, I guess, but Um, I don't know how many other places Poor Things can win, and so I think that
Interesting.
uh, I think maybe this is where Poor Things can pull off
I think we're going to
a
disagree on a few
victory.
things going forward.
Okay.
Says the
So
guy
you
who
think
hasn't
Lily
seen Poor
Gladstone's
Things.
the winner?
I think it's Lily Gladstone.
And to be fair, I do not like Poor Things, the movie. I really did not like it. But
And I haven't seen it, but I've disliked a lot of Yorgos's movies in the past. But
yeah,
I'm leaving it. It does seem like a movie that I would enjoy. So we're going to be watching that shortly. Any day now, maybe this weekend. All right. Locked. Supporting actor.
this is a one horse race, baby.
This is a one horse race.
I think this one and Best Supporting Actress are both,
Supporting actress,
start
I feel
etching those trophies. We know the answer.
more confident in. This one, yeah. But I could see it going other ways, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
for Oppenheimer. Which other way do you think it could go, Evan?
Well, I'd have to fucking look. I don't remember
Your
who's
options are
nominated.
Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, Robert
Mark
De Niro for
Ruffalo.
Killers of the Flower Moon, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, or Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things.
Yeah. Yeah. In my mind, if it's going to anybody else, it's going to Robert De Niro. Because, I mean, and again, hey, it's Robert De Niro. And in my mind and a lot of people's minds, I think he gave his best performance in like 20 years.
yeah, he was really good in that movie.
And sometimes people like to honor that. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be shocked to see that. But yeah, everything does seem to be leaning old RDJ's way. The culmination of a career. I mean, I guess he's retiring. People are really acting like this is it. This is it for Robert Downey Jr. All right, so we agree on that one. I assume we both agree on supporting actress. Although
Divine Joy Randolph.
And this is from a pundit, so I won't be held responsible. I read that it's pronounced Davine.
I remember hearing that it's not pronounced divine, but I didn't remember how to pronounce it. So
Davine Joy Randolph.
Davine Joy Randolph, I do think is like even more so than Robert Downey Jr. I think that she's
agreed.
She's got it,
and she's like. Anyway, I thought Robert Downey Jr. was fucking great in Oppenheimer, but yeah, she's the like if I were voting for who's nominated, like she would have been my pick. Like she's great. Like I love that movie. She's so fucking good in it. Do we want to go to director? Because I got a dark horse poll here.
We can bounce up to director. Justine Triet, Martin Scorsese, Christopher Nolan, Yorgos Lanthimos, Jonathan Glazer, Evan. Who you got?
I got a dark horse pick here. This is me getting silly, like I always do every time we do this.
This is what always costs you.
It does, but I'm following my heart. This is going to Justine Triet.
Interesting.
And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
People fucking love Anatomy of a Fall. A lot of people think it's the best movie of the year. I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I don't think it's the best movie of the year, personally. But I thought it was great. And I think this just happens sometimes. When movies that are like near consensus, like so many people loved that fucking movie, but it's clear, and maybe I'm wrong, it's clear that's not going to win Best Picture. Some love goes to it in a different category. I think the pundits I'm reading are saying it's Christopher Nolan's to lose. In my mind, I see all those dudes right around the same spot. I think we haven't said this. For my money, strong ass movie here. I've loved everything I've seen. I'm having a great time. So I don't know. I think that's a tighter category than people act? And how do you say confidently, like, yeah, of course Christopher Nolan is going to win over Martin Scorsese? Like, historically, he's only won the one time. But, I don't know. That's my call. I'm sticking to it.
I'm sticking with Christopher Nolan.
I don't know why I have such a hard time seeing that.
Well, I also kind of feel like I have a hard time seeing it too for some reason, but at the same time, I have less of a hard time seeing it than any of these other four.
Yeah.
So I would say if I had to pick a dark horse, I would pick Jonathan Glazer, but
I'd considered it.
But I'm gonna stick with Christopher Nolan.
All right, let's do it. Chalk pick. Adapted screenplay.
Sure, this is a tight category.
Hey, baby.
American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest.
Because like I was saying with Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie also lands in this category. Barbie's not going to win Best Picture, but how does it not walk away with a bunch of awards? I think it's gonna. Might be this one. That's not what I'm picking, but it might be.
Okay.
It's a good screenplay. And in terms of an adaptation, what a wild direction to take.
Sure.
So, I don't know.
I feel like I think that's where I'm going to go to. I don't think that Barbie has a great shot at screenplay, to be honest.
I kind of don't either, but it's a solid one.
I thought that the directing was better than the writing, but the Academy obviously not feeling the same way. But I think I'm gonna go with Oppenheimer. That's gonna be my pick.
All right, I gotta stop speaking first. I cut in there. I gotta let you flail on your own.
Yeah.
Because you've learned the pattern is that we'll agree, and then I say I'm going to do something stupid, and you stick to what's definitely going to win, and that's how I lose. Original screenplay, yes, I have my pick.
Yeah, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro. You said you love everything you've seen this year.
Oh yeah,
we are talking about Maestro.
Maestro wasn't my favorite. It was fun.
Also, May, December, and Past Lives are in this category.
Right.
I'm gonna pick The Holdovers, just because I like it. But I also I could see this is I could see that Justine Triet victory for Anatomy of a Fall here. But I'm gonna stick with The Holdovers because it's fun.
My strategy didn't work. I also picked The Holdovers. On my list next, I got animated feature, baby.
This is my jam.
It's your bread and butter.
Every year, this is the category where I've seen everything. So we talked before we started recording that we had each seen an Oscar movie. I guess you saw American Fiction.
Correct.
I saw Robot Dreams.
Beep, bop, boop.
So I have seen every nominee in this category.
And I've seen one of them. As per usual.
Yeah. Evan, would it surprise you to learn this is a 2-horse race, baby?
Yeah, is it? Okay. I think I picked one of those horses.
The options are The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, or Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
I think it's between The Boy and the Heron and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
I also do.
We talked about how Oppenheimer and The Holdovers were in my top 3. Hey, movie number 1 above both of those, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Interesting.
So that's what I'm going to choose as my winner is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Hey, given that this is a 2-horse race, it's as good a pick as any.
Yep, 50-50 shot.
Good a pick as any of those two. I am going the other direction strictly because the first one already won, From
Yep.
everyone I've heard from, they liked this one a little bit less than the first one.
Sure.
And this is potentially Hayao Miyazaki's last movie ever.
Again.
I can see. Yes. Has it worked in the past? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Didn't he won for Ponyo? Wasn't that also his last? I love the man. I don't know. Make as many movies as you want. Keep it going. But yeah, I'm differing there. I will pick Boy and the Heron.
Okay.
We talked ahead of time. We're just going to skip some categories that we haven't seen anything from. And I'm a big documentary head, so that is a bummer. Documentary always ends up being the last category I go after, and then I'll watch them all in a row. And it's a fun little week before the Oscars. But let's go to international feature.
Sure. I mentioned already that I think The Zone of Interest will win because it's the only one of these nominees also up for Best Picture. And so that feels like a pretty heavy favorite going into the Oscars. But you said you had a different choice.
No. I am picking The Zone of Interest, but I have my I do have, and honestly, it was my original what I wrote. In the theory that between Oppenheimer and The Zone of Interest, it's like, okay, there's a lot of shit that's going to be winning awards that's kind of dark and heavy. But out here, Wim Wenders has a little movie called Perfect Days. I'm seeing a big marketing push for it. I love me some Wim Wenders. And it looks like a lovely movie. Could happen. Maybe people got over-heavied between Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and The Zone of Interest, and Anatomy of a Fall.
Fair enough.
It's funny. This is a heavier year than I realized. There's some heavy fucking movies.
Well, I think that
and then
Barbie and American Fiction are very
lighten things up a little.
Lighter movies.
Yeah.
Probably why I like them a lot. And The Holdovers is,
it rides
all
that line.
All three of those have, all three of them have their dramatic, weighty stuff, but are also fun. So,
and Oppenheimer had one light moment where the bomb
Jack Quaid played the bongos.
Okay, two light moments. That and when the bomb test was launched by Josh Peck. Because of course it is. Okay. But no, I do agree. Zone of Interest. I guess cinematography coming up next.
Cinematography.
This is the one place I am going to pick Maestro. I think Maestro is beautiful looking. But as I said to you in an email, the winner of the year in general, I think, is Rodrigo Prieto. Killers of the Flower Moon looked awesome, and Barbie looked unique as fuck, and he should have been nominated for both. But I'm going with Maestro. I don't even know who shot it.
Matthew Libatique. The other nominees are El Conde, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things.
Yeah. And Killers of the Flower Moon would be my backup. Poor Things, like every Yorgos Lanthimos movies, appears to have just been shot entirely with a wide-angle lens.
I think Maestro probably did have the best cinematography.
It was really pretty. I think that's the weird, technical achievement movie for what it is. I think Bradley Cooper's going to be upset with this. I think it's going to win some technical achievements.
This is the thing though. I do think Maestro was probably the best. However, I don't necessarily think that means it's going to win, because the Oscars is never about what's the best.
That's true.
I am going to say, it's so boring, but I'm going to pick I'm going to stick with Oppenheimer. It's just so boring to pick that for every category, but that's what I'm going to pick.
But I get it.
But I do think Rodrigo had the best year.
Killer year of the
Rodrigo had the best
Barbie.
year. Maestro had the best of these nominees,
Oppenheimer.
but I'm going to pick Oppenheimer.
Well, and this is the, I don't want to tease anything. I don't want to tease. I'm not a tease.
No.
But a lot, pundits, the big word, you hinted at it early, is like Oppenheimer's ready to sweep this fucking night. They're going to Return of the Kings this shit and take everything. I don't necessarily agree with that. And I think that's going to be my downfall. But I don't know why I can't see it. I think it's the mix of it being Christopher Nolan and the fact that it came out so long ago never bodes well at the Oscars. And I don't want to be that pundit that's like, this never happens. Christopher Nolan doesn't win shit.
Everything Everywhere All at Once came out far before the Academy Awards and then also swept a bunch of categories.
That's true.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it is also just I'm in that world where it's I don't know. Something just feels wrong. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Someone call Jimmy Kimmel. Fucking I said the wrong name. I can't think of forget it. Bad joke slipped through my head. And I was gonna play.
No, let's crack it. What are we?
Who's the actor? Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty got his hands on the envelopes again. I was gonna say Warren Buffett, and that wouldn't have made any sense. Brutal. Okay, well, there's that. Past this point, I mean, I'm good to just kind of throw out if you've got any strong opinions or if there are categories you particularly want to talk about. I'll generally say when you said that you don't think Poor Things wins anything else. I haven't seen it, but as much as it feels like there are other movies that should be locks for this, I kind of see makeup and hair and costume design going to Poor Things. That feels more up their alley than say Barbie, which I think should maybe win. But
I think Barbie should win costume design, and I mean, is Maestro going to win best makeup and hairstyling?
I mean, it's again amazing makeup, but does that mean it's going to win? I guess best makeup. It's the most makeup.
And that's the thing, is that's usually where winners tend to land, is like if you replace best with most in a lot of these categories, you'll find your winner.
Most makeup.
Most makeup and hairstyling. It's probably Maestro.
It's probably Maestro. So I don't know. Other than like, I've got production design. If that does not go to Barbie, I riot.
Yeah, I mean
that's Barbie's to lose, and maybe that's not what pundits are saying. I don't know, but in my opinion, as a person that's watched these movies, that is Barbie's number one. Like,
yeah,
that was amazing what they did.
Yeah, I mean, I think that best visual effects will go to Godzilla -1.
That's what I chose also, but I haven't seen it.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of, we could, probably shout out a bunch of these winners, but like, real quick, just to make it another 2-horse race, Evan.
Let's do it.
Shout out another 2-horse race. Best original song.
Yes. I have a strong opinion on this one.
I think it's down to both of those Barbie songs.
Definitely.
The one that everybody loves and the one that plays on the radio all the fucking time. And everybody hates when it comes on now. I think those are the two that are the front runners.
Here's what I have to say.
Yeah.
I think they're both great songs. Yeah, and to be fair, like the assuming this is what we're talking about, the Billie Eilish song is played a lot. It's played everywhere. It's in every other commercial now, and it's on the radio, et cetera, et cetera. I think it is a great song, and I think people do love it. But I think we saw was it last year or the year before with RRR?
With RRR.
They've already announced
year,
they're both performing. Meaning Ryan
Yeah.
Gosling is going to get on stage and do I'm Just Ken. And
Yeah.
I hope the other Kens are there with him. Simu Liu, get on up there. It's going to be fun as shit. That's my pick. I don't see. There's just so much. There's so much to it.
We talked about this months and months ago.
Oh.
I really, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh boy.
But I really want all of the other male nominees in the acting categories to join Ryan Gosling on stage for I'm Just Ken.
That'd be so good.
That'd be so good.
Robert De Niro's up there.
Yeah. I want Robert De Niro singing I'm Just Ken.
I'm Just Ken. I can't do a Robert De Niro, but hey, you talking to Ken? That's the only way I can do an impression. You talking to Ken? I'm the only Ken here. It turns into Trump really quickly.
Yeah.
I'm just Ken. I don't know. That's my shit. Though I'm there for it. Are you going with that or well, what was I made for?
Gosh, it's tough because like what was I made for is also
It's pretty.
Yeah, and it does play on the radio and all these commercials, which gets it out there a lot more, right? But I'm a sucker for things that are fun.
Yeah.
So
and I almost wonder with music, and I get this is probably a dumb thing to say because this is exactly what happened with The Shallows.
Right.
Is that like Oscar campaigns are all about pushing a movie in front of your face and getting it on billboards, getting it on your TV, getting it on streaming services now so you can watch it. Holdovers, that's been on that shitty Peacock service forever. Did I not know that and pay $20 for it? Yes, I did. And then found out a day later it was on Peacock. Awesome. But now I own it. Is that where I rewatched
now
it?
You don't have to go to Peacock.
I forgot. I watched it on Peacock.
Oh my God.
I'm terrible. My theory, though, my question is that a good method with music? Like, for voters?
Yeah, that's
because
true.
there is, versus seeing, like, you don't get exhausted by seeing billboards for Oppenheimer. But you can get exhausted by a song that's overplayed over and over and over again. Now, that didn't happen with The Shallows.
I swear.
But
we mentioned this last episode. The only time I listen to the radio is at work in our little office. We have the radio on. And every time that Billie Eilish song comes on, everybody goes, "Oh, this again."
Well, that's a terrible song to be listening to at work. What was I made for? While you're sitting at a job you don't want to be at. Dear God, why am I here?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyways, you haven't made your
what
pick.
Did The Shallows lose to? Evan?
Did it lose? I thought it won.
Oh, did it win? I don't remember.
It won. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying.
Yeah, I thought you were saying that it had lost
because
it was around so much.
That because The Shallows was overplayed like a motherfucker, but that did win. So my theory might be wrong, but I don't know. I think though, if there were two songs nominated from that movie, A Star Is Born, one of them was very upbeat and fun, and one was The Shallows, which was played ad nauseum. I don't know. Does that fun one win? Was there not a fun song? I never saw it. They're not just a really fun song in A Star Is Born. Did I miss the vibe of that whole movie?
I think you might have missed the vibe. If there was, it was not nominated. Okay. I am looking at the nominees right now. Yeah, I mean, who knows? There was also that one year, was it last year with... Oh, no, it was 2 years ago when Billie Eilish won for No Time to Die.
Oh, yeah. That was a good
where
song.
the big pundit narrative was, Encanto's going to win so that Lin-Manuel Miranda can get his EGOT. And then he lost, and everybody went, oops.
Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't mean he was going to win.
Got his ego blown. You haven't made your pick yet. Is it just Ken, or what were you?
I'm going to say I'm just Ken.
All right,
I guess I'll go with I'm just Ken. I would rather it be that than what was I made for.
Great song. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's a good song. It's just I am in that category of I'm done. I'm done with it. You know?
Otherwise, I've just got 3 other ones listed here that I'll rattle off real quick. I think editing goes to Killers of the Flower Moon. I think score goes to Killer of the Flower Moon. And I think sound goes to Oppenheimer.
I think sound goes to Oppenheimer. I think editing goes to Oppenheimer.
Interesting.
And I think
it is most edits.
Score. Exactly.
That's usually
you're cutting
how it
between
goes.
all these different things. I kind of feel like score goes to Oppenheimer.
It might
too.
Here's the thing, though. We've got John Williams' last score.
Sure.
For Indiana Jones. We can't count that out. Killers of the Flower
count
Moon.
Out a legacy winner, but
Killers of the Flower Moon is Robbie Robertson's last score. He passed away.
Right, as posthumous.
He'll probably be
nomination
in memoriam. Will he be holding a trophy in the in memoriam? Get some AI work done here.
Yeah,
Robbie Robertson holding a trophy. So I'm not positive.
You guys said we couldn't use AI for your performances, but not for the in memoriam. Should have negotiated that in your strikes.
Unless there's anything else you really want to drill down, I'm ready to talk best pick.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's talk best picture. Of course, if anybody doesn't know the nominees: American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon,
Accurate.
Maestro,
Can't deny
Oppenheimer,
Fact,
Past Lives, Poor
Things,
Things, The Zone of Interest. Evan, what do you think is going to win Best Picture?
I think, once again, I say, cut this back down to like 5 nominees.
No, I like the 10. I like the 10, baby.
Here's the thing. Punditry, you're very loud. And this, apparently, is Oppenheimer's to lose. And it has been since the beginning. I find myself in a tough position where I loved Oppenheimer. But it's not my favorite of the year. I don't think it was necessarily the best of the year. But that's just my opinion, man. This is the category I'm least confident in because I am not picking Oppenheimer. It's me going rogue. I'm 90% certain that Oppenheimer wins Best Picture. But that's boring to me. And up until I told you I felt a switch. When it came out, I told you recently, Killers of the Flower Moon, that was it. That was like, oh shit, the Best Picture of the year just came out. And then that changed. It was like, no, it's 100%. It's definitely Oppenheimer. I don't know. I think Killers of the Flower Moon is a stronger candidate than people are acting. And I'm going to take that 10% chance, like a proper pundit. Take that 10% chance of being right and looking like a genius.
Yeah, okay.
Killers of the Flower Moon for Best Picture.
All right, I'm picking Oppenheimer. I think
Smart.
that it is always boring when the same movie just keeps winning all these awards.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that's what's going to happen on March 10th is we are going to see a sweep from Oppenheimer. I will say that if there are 2 dark horses, right? I heard punditry saying, "Oh, look out for a Holdovers win for Best Picture."
That'd be great.
as much as I love the holdovers, I don't think that it is going
It's a big
to.
ask.
Yeah, I do wonder how much of the outrage that happened come nominations. No
Right.
Greta Gerwig, no Margot Robbie. Is that going to be enough for people to push?
I
Like,
agree.
hey, we do love Barbie. We weren't paying attention when we submitted our votes,
Yeah.
but now we're paying attention. I still think it's going to be Oppenheimer, but Barbie, I think, could it come down to Barbenheimer
I mean, it's
as the
possible.
two leads for Best Picture? I don't know. I'm going to stick with Oppenheimer, though, as boring as that choice is.
I think I 100% agree that to me, Killers of the Killers of the Flower Moon,
Killers of the
Oppenheimer,
Moon.
and then I would put Barbie in that third place of like that might happen if Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer kind of cancel each other out. It's happened before.
Right.
Barbie could take this bitch. It's Barbie, bitch.
Yeah.
That's not a thing anyone says. That's Brittany. But I think my thing with Oppenheimer is I really loved it. And a part of why I loved it was it's so strangely put together. Which is why, like, leaving the theater, I was like, I don't know if I loved the editing of that or hated the editing of that. But I think it's a fascinating movie. The acting's amazing. The technical achievements of it are incredible. It's all those things built up to be like a Best Picture winner. But I can say almost all of the same things about Killers of the Flower Moon. But I thought it was a better movie, personally. And people want to cry about the length of that movie. Guess what? It was 20 minutes longer than Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's 3 hours fucking long. Like, why is that the one that's like, well, that was technically the longest, so we're going to write it off because it was too long. I think that's stupid. Did it hold your attention? If no, fine. It held my attention the whole fucking time. I don't know. I'm taking that 10% chance. Ride with me,
All right.
humans.
Best of luck. Obviously, by the time the Oscars come around, you and I will have probably changed all our votes anyway.
Every time. I said before we started recording, you and I do a Yahoo thing. We each get to put in 2 ballots. I put one in already. I haven't looked at it again. I guarantee it's completely different than what I just said. And that third one will be a third different one. But hey, let us know. Who crushed this and why was it Chris?
Yeah. Was it because I picked all of the safe choices, maybe?
Well, once Evan says, I'm picking a dark horse here, he's never won the whole thing. It's never happened. The pundits are saying.
It's
never
true.
going to come from behind victory, but...
Could Evan make history this Oscars?
See, now we're talking.
And win.
Yeah.
Who will find out?
We will find out. Is this our quiz, or did you still want to do a quiz?
No, I've got the quiz. We're playing to 100.
We are.
So we've got to
get on
to do well here.
We got to get the order of this back in order. So I'm just gonna say, hey, thank you for listening. First off, continue listening. Yes. Second off. Give us ratings and reviews. Third off, we love all this shit. Talk to us. You can find this podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. We are on Podbean, your number one choice. It's the first one that came to mind.
Where everybody goes.
We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. You can find all of this shit. And you can, I'm putting some weight on my shoulders because it's not perfect yet, but you can find all these links at HowDoWeHuman.com. I've rehauled. That's overhauled. Yes, I've overhauled the website. I've been working. I've been hard at work. It's currently pretty fucking broken on mobile. So look at it on your desktop. You can find all those links there. You can also find us on social media. We are on Instagram at HowDoWeHuman.
We got that handle.
We're on Facebook at HowDoWeHuman.
Cough, cough. We got that handle.
You can watch full video episodes. If you're not already, you can see our pretty faces, these two bald dorks. You can find us on YouTube. That is at HowDoWeHuman.
Sniffle, sniffle. We got that handle.
And
sick, remember?
Yeah. It took me a sec, but I did remember. And we'll throw this out because we decided it was a good idea, whether it is or not. We've got a phone number now. Do you want to hear yourself on the podcast? You can. Leave us a fucking message. This is thrilling. I got to look around to get the number again. There it is. We'll figure out a fun way to say this number with words to make it easier for you to remember. But if you want to leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on here, unless it's awful. Nah, we'll probably play that too. That number is...
We'll play your awful, boring voicemails too.
HowDoWeHuman? We'll play your awful shit. That number is 323-657-9896.
Phone handle.
Like a phone handle.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that? The icon for a phone is an old school phone, and young people like, what the fuck is this?
They think
picture?
it's what, like a drawer handle or something.
Well, right. Gen Z, you think you're so smart? Pick a phone out of this lineup.
What phones are.
You don't know what phones look like. Speaking of smart, let's feel dumb.
Sure. You don't want to throw out the email at all?
No, yes, of course I do. HowDoWeHumanPod@gmail.com, or you can go to HowDoWeHuman.com and go to the contact page. You can leave us a message there if that's easier.
The best part of that handle is you have multiple options.
Ta-da! All right. This section's gotten all jumbled up, and I don't know what to do where anymore. But yes, let's quiz it.
As a reminder, the score is Chris with 17 points and Evan with 15 points. All right. And we're playing to 100 points.
Let's go.
Question number 1. Which programming language was developed by Apple for creating iOS and Mac OS applications?
Okay.
Python, Swift, Go, or Ruby?
Damn. I should know this. I've got it down.
Yeah, I mean, you've been having to do all sorts of programming, like websites and stuff, so... I've heard of 2 of these as programming...
Same.
...things.
And I have to assume that's why. But I'm not positive if any of these are Mac specific.
Yeah.
I feel like I vaguely remember Ruby on Rails being something different. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to go Python.
The 2 that I was between were Python and Swift.
Ooh, interesting. We knew different ones.
I know that a lot of like companies are looking for people who know Python.
Yeah.
Which, based on how most companies cater towards iPhones and
True.
And things, kind of makes me lean that way. But I don't like I haven't heard of Python being associated with Apple. That's is kind of the issue that I have.
Yeah. So if you've heard
Except
of Swift,
for,
it might
of course,
be Swift.
In the Garden of Eden. That's the only time snakes and apples have come together.
Yeah.
I hate that I think I'm wrong, but I'm also gonna go with you on Python.
Let's go.
I'll go Swift.
I knew it. That's hilarious. All right, we're both wrong. What is the force that opposes the motion of objects through a fluid? Drag, applied, tension, or friction? I have my answer.
Okay. I'm between drag and friction.
Okay.
Because I feel like drag is more like through the air, but friction is more like solid against solid. So neither one of these are liquid.
You know what? I'm changing my answer.
Okay, interesting.
Thrilling.
I'm leaning towards drag, I think. Evan, what were you at and where are you now?
I was at drag. I'm now at tension.
Okay. Let's find out.
Damn it!
It was drag.
I was so confident when I started, and your talking talked me out of it. You bastard. Terrible.
That's revenge for Python and Swift.
So
each of us.
The reason that happened when you said, I'm like, oh yeah, drag would be maybe through the air. I know it's not friction. And then I remembered there's a prog metal supergroup called the Liquid Tension Experiment. And I thought maybe prog metal knew something
yes,
about
of course.
science.
That's probably science related.
I hoped. Mike Portnoy, whatever your fucking name is, you led me wrong.
Which African country is known as the Pearl of Africa? Togo, Congo, Uganda, or Senegal?
Fuck, I do not
This feels
know.
like a thing I should know,
right?
And I don't. I have a guess, I think.
I have a guess. I don't know why the pearl makes me think it would be at the bottom. I don't know why. There's no logic there. I don't know. My brain is just leading towards Senegal.
Okay, my brain is leading towards Uganda, so
let's rock.
First thought, best thought, here we go.
Yeah. Damn it!
It was Uganda.
You're kidding me. Uganda be kidding me. Who was the first person to circumnavigate the world? Ferdinand Magellan, Sir Francis Drake, Vasco da Gama, or Christopher Columbus? These all sound correct to me. Which is a problem.
I felt confident until you read them all out loud.
Same.
And now I'm like, is it that one? But I have my guess and I feel relatively confident about it.
I don't feel at all confident about this. I was so confident in Ferdinand Magellan and now I'm not sure. But that's been biting me in the ass this whole game. So I've got to say Ferdinand Magellan.
All right, I'm also saying Ferdinand
Magellan.
My
other answer is Vasco da Gama. Okay.
It was Ferdinand Magellan.
Thank God.
All right.
I couldn't afford to get behind anymore.
What does the acronym IPO stand for in the business world? Insider public offering, initial public offering, investor public offering, or income public offering? So personally, I think the P and the O stand for public offering.
See, I'm going a different
way.
What
does that I
stand for? Oh, man.
I have a guess, but this
two of these
maybe the one I am the least confident on.
Okay, I'm going to write that one off. It's like there's one that feels logical and then one that I think it is, which is what keeps fucking me up. But I'm going to stick with my brain. It's been doing me so wrong this time. I'm going to say initial public offering.
Damn it, that's the one I'm picking too. So here we go. Initial public offering is correct.
All right. So I'm down 2 more.
Yeah, I add to my score. I go up to 21 points, and Evan goes up to 17 points.
17? That's it?
Yeah.
I only got 2?
You only got 2 right.
Fuck me.
Yes.
How many did you get right?
4.
Fuck. Yeah, I fucked myself on those. Damn. All right. That's a gap.
Yeah.
All right. That sucks. I feel terrible.
I shouldn't have jumped over to Python. I should have as a true Swiftie, I should have stuck over there, Team Taylor, but
I've done zero programming anything on a Mac. So what do I know?
Well, all I know is it's time to wrap things up.
Yeah. And as the pundits like to say at the end of their segments, bye.
I'm right. Go fuck yourself.
Okay, bye.
Bye.